Who are we really? What is our origin? Did we evolve from apes, or are we the descendants of Adam and Eve? Evolution or creation? Through revelatory knowledge from 1960, we open the door to discovering that our origin lies somewhere in between. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." Genesis 1, verse 26. This is not the creation of Adam, as the church teaches, placing Adam among the living beings of the sixth day, varying in beastly appearance, including human-like kind, each going through an evolutionary process until it matched the image in God's mind. Genesis 1, verse 26 is the idea of Adam, as Genesis 1, verse 1 is the idea of heaven and earth. Nothing has been formed yet, as we see in verse 2. There were two creations, the sixth-day creation, the number 6 pertaining to the physical, and the seventh-day creation, the number 7 pertaining to the spiritual. Adam and Eve were made in the seventh day, in the image of God, spiritual beings existing in a spiritual realm, having spiritual abilities and godly intelligence, passed down through the DNA of Cain and Abel. The coats of skins they received were not animal skins, but physical flesh bodies, grounding them to the physical realm, which prior to their fall they enjoyed and interacted with through a glorified body. Eve's part of the them called Adam. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam. Genesis 5, verse 2. After Cain slew Abel, he went to the land of Nod, where he took a wife. So who are we? We are the descendants of Cain and his wife, who I suspect was the highest development of the human-like kind of the sixth day, which is why we carry Neanderthal DNA. The creation of heaven and earth took 6 days according to Genesis, and according to Peter, a day is equal to 1,000 years, which is why the church teaches that God's creation was formed over a period of 6,000 years. The 6 days have to do with our spiritual creation. A day is 24 hours. 5 days equates to 5 times 24, which equals 120. The age at which Moses, representing the law, and the flesh, referring to our sinful spiritual flesh, dies. 6 days equates to 6 times 24, which equals 144, a spiritual measure through which one enters a spiritual wall of protection. The 6,000 years has to do with what took place at the beginning of these millenniums. What took place in the beginning of the 3,000th year was the foreshadowing of what took place in the beginning of the 5,000th year. That is when we were given the spiritual instructions for returning to a pure spiritual state of being through 6 metaphorical days of spiritual or internal works, through the creation or formation of a new heaven and a new earth, symbolizing a new mind and a new heart. We are now in the 7th day, in the beginning of the 7,000th year since the fall, symbolizing the spiritual decline of mankind. As Adam was formed in the 7th day, we too can be formed, or should I say reformed, becoming the last Adam, returning to our spiritual origin, back to who we really are.